Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Spirit Guide Show. I hope you guys can see me and hear me. Let me know in the chat so I know I'm not talking to myself. That would be amazing. So I hope you guys are awesome and doing really well, and you're excited to learn how to hear your spirit guides. Again, let me know in the chat if you can hear me and see me, and if you're excited to learn how to hear your spirit guides. And while you're at it, like share this show with anyone who would be interested in watching the show with you today. There's a share button up here that you can use. You can click on it and invite people. And if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, please find the link in the description, either below or above, depending on where you're watching, and come join us here on Crowdcast, because only here can I do mini readings for you, and only here can I answer your questions. And if you have any tech issues, like you suddenly can't hear me anymore, can't see me anymore, then just refresh your page, refresh your screen. That usually solves the problem. All right, so my name is Yamile Yemoonyah, and I'm a spirit guide medium, which means that I can sense other people's spirit guides, and I can give you messages from your spirit guides. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. I do spirit guide readings where I introduce you to your spirit guide and give you any messages they have for you. I'm also a Hay House author. And I wrote a book called The 7 Types of Spirit Guide. You can buy it anywhere. You can buy books, Amazon, Waterstones, Booktopia, all around the world. You can also go to your local bookstore and just have them order the book if they don't have it. And yes, in the book, I teach you how to connect and communicate with your cosmic helpers, your spirit guides. And it's published by Hay House. And you can find me at thespiritguidemedium.com. Very easy URL. I put it in the chat for anyone who's interested. All right, so if you haven't read my book yet, like I said, you can get it anywhere. If you have read my book already, and I know many of you have, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I would appreciate it as well if you could leave me a review on Amazon or wherever you bought it. If possible, like a written review. It doesn't have to be long. It can just be 1 sentence. Or if you're courageous enough, leave a video review, because written and video reviews are ranked higher. And so it just counts as more as if you just give me 4 or 5 stars. So if you could take 10 seconds actually, and just leave a review, just say in 1 sentence what you liked about the book, that would be amazing. All right, so lots of people are here today. I already saw we have people from Northern Italy, Germany, Seattle, Switzerland, Canada, the UK, of course, including Scotland, where it's really warm today, I can see. So lots of people like Sweden, Iran. Ooh, I think this is the first one. Welcome from Iran. I forget how to say hello. I just remember Khodafis. That's Iranian, right? Farsi, yes. And I love Hormuz Sabzi, or used to when I wasn't vegetarian. I should try to find a vegetarian option. Anyway, sorry, guys. So hello. And I also see that you guys can see me and hear me. Thank you for letting me know. Lots of people have read the book already. Barbara says, love your book. Steve says, great book. Valerie says, boom. Oh, book, I guess, is amazing. Maria says, wonderful book. Atusa says, it's a great book. Thank you so much, guys. All right, so on this episode of the Spirit Guide Show, we are going to talk about how to hear your spirit guides. And by the end of the show, you will know what clairaudience exactly is, how it works, and 5 exercises to help you develop it. When I set it up, I said 3, but I actually now have 5 exercises. So I hope there's something for all of you. The second part of the show, we will be doing mini readings, which means I will pick some people and do a mini reading for them and introduce them to their spirit guides. Third part of the show will be a Q&A so that you can ask any questions you have about spirit guides and related topics, and I will be happy to give you the answer if I have them. Or if not, then I maybe can come up with a resource that might help you. Either way, ask away later on. But before we get started, I would like to invite you to a free event on Friday, July 30th. So that's like this coming Friday. It's the free introduction event for my upcoming 6 weeks course that I do in collaboration with the team from Mind, Body, Spirit Festival here in the UK. You don't have to be in the UK to participate. It's all happening online. And the course will teach you how to connect and communicate with your spirit guides. Some of you might have done workshops with me before, I did a few 1-hour workshops. I did 1 3-hour workshop. And this time it's going to be a 6-week course. So the most extensive I've done so far. We will go into each topic and into each phase of connecting with your guides in more depth than I have done before. So, and this free intro event for the course will be about the 4 signs that your spirit guide is trying to communicate with you. So basically, I'm going to give you the signs so that you know, oh, my spirit guide is actually trying to reach me and trying to tell me something. And so that's this Friday, and you can sign up here. And I will post this in the chat. Here you go. Again, if you're on Facebook or YouTube, come on over here to Crowdcast, because I just posted the link in the chat on Crowdcast, not on Facebook, not on YouTube. All right, there you go. That's the link. Click on that. It's a free event, so it doesn't cost anything. If you can't make it live, sign up anyway to get the replay. And if you need more info, go to that link and you will find it there. And also, I'm not the organizer in that sense. So if you have questions about something about the organization, please also go to the link and contact them there. The organizer is Mind, Body, Spirit. I'm just the teacher. All right, so now let's get started. So let's start with a question. Have you ever heard someone call your name even though no one was there? This happens specifically oftentimes in the morning or at night when you're just waking up or just falling asleep, when you're in that in-between state. I've heard this so many times from people. And so yes, if that's you, let me know in the chat. If that isn't you, totally fine. It doesn't say anything about you or your spirit guides. It's just some people have this. The other question, have you ever heard voices inside your own head that are not yours? Benevolent voices. This is not about obviously schizophrenia or anything like that. So if a voice inside your head is putting you down or is telling you to do something violent, this is not your spirit guides. That's a mental health issue, completely different topic. But if you've ever had benevolent voices inside your own head, also let me know in the chat. And then the last question, have you ever had ringing in your ears that is not due to physical stuff that's going on with your body? What's it called? Tinnitus? I forget how to say it in English, but I think you know what I mean. That's a physical issue. But if you sometimes have ringing in your ears and it has nothing to do with that, have you ever had that? All right, so let's see. I see lots of yeses. Oh God, yeah. Zena says yes. She's had one of these experiences. Brandy says yes. Tusa says no. I wish. Don't worry. I will talk about this a little bit later. But you do not have to hear this kind of stuff to connect with your guides. Lissy says yes. Brandy says I'm mostly clairaudient. Perfect. Jeffrey says yes. Karen says yes. Brent says yes. Jillian says yes. Valerie, Katie, Blue, Brandy, Zena. So lots of people have had this. How do you know it's not yours? We will talk about that later. All right. So, and lots of more people. Oh God, lots of you. Amazing. All right. So where am I? Right. So this ability to hear spirits and associated phenomena is called clairaudience. And some of you will know what this is, some of you will not know, and that's why I'm going to explain what clairaudience is. If you know what it is, bear with me. But like our newbies here need to know what this means. So let me first tell you about the 6 clairs. If you've watched the Spirit Guide show before, like I said, you might already know this. Just stick it out with me. So just like we have 5 physical senses, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, and smelling, we also have 6 psychic senses. And yes, we all have them. Like Zena has them, Blue has them, Alex has them, George has them. We all have these 6 psychic senses. We just use them subconsciously most of the time because no one told us we had them and how to use them. Unfortunately, we live in a society where people don't believe in this stuff, and so they just like don't teach us about it. And these psychic senses, these 6 psychic senses are called clairs. This is like in the mediumship and psychic world. So we have 6 of them. Like I said, we have claircognizance, which means clear knowing. This one does not correspond to any of the other physical senses. This is the 6th one. So claircognizance means clear knowing. Clair is French, by the way. So clear knowing. And that's when you just know things. It's like when you get a download or a sudden insight and you just know something. You don't know where it's coming from because it's not coming through your senses. It's just this sudden knowing. Then we have clairvoyance, and we talked about that on the last episode of the show. Clairvoyance is when you see things. So you see an angel, you see your dead grandmother, that kind of thing. You see an elf. Clairscent is like clear smelling. That's not very common, but some people suddenly smell violets. And for example, their grandmother always wore a violet perfume, and now they suddenly smell violets. And that's their grandmother saying, hey, I'm here, and wanted to say hello. Or you smell your dead grandfather's like tobacco smell or something like this. And then we have clairgustance, which is clear tasting. That's another one that's not very common, but it does happen. That's when you suddenly, and like, let's say your grandmother who has passed used to bake cookies, and suddenly you taste these cookies, and even though you're not eating cookies. And so, I missed one, clairsentience, which is clear feeling. You empaths out there, that's what you are. So clairsentience means like you feel your guides, for example. You feel like a wave of love. You feel their presence almost in a physical sense. So these are the clairs. And then we have the one that we're going to talk about today. That's clairaudience, clear hearing. And clairaudience is the ability to receive intuitive information about an object, person, other kind of being, location, or physical event through hearing. Clairaudience is what you might have experienced as hearing angels, aliens, fairies, other kinds of beings, or a disembodied voice. or voices outside of you that are like no one's there, or voices inside your own head, and similar experiences. So then there's a difference between objective clairaudience and subjective clairaudience. And this difference between objective and subjective experiences is true for all the clairs. So you have objective clairaudience, that's like when you literally hear a voice outside of you and it's very clear that it's not you, it's like someone else's voice. And then you have the subjective clairaudience, which is much more common. So if you never hear like your spirit guide's voice outside of you, that's totally fine. I would think that maybe 1% of all humans have ever had that experience, including professional mediums, professional psychics. I'm like Mike, I don't hear spirit guides. I perceive them through claircognizance and clairvoyance mostly. So again, you do not necessarily need to hear your guides. All right, so these are the two ways. And then the subjective clairaudience happens in your head, and it's a little bit more like as if it's like your own voice, but it's saying things that you wouldn't usually tell yourself. And sometimes you don't even realize that it's your guides talking to you because you think, oh, this is just my thoughts. And really, in reality, it isn't. And all this needs like practice to like really separate what's going on, like what's you, what's not you. Similar to, let's say, you internalize the voices of your parents. So you have your parents' voice inside of you, but over time you think it's actually you talking to yourself. And it's in that sense a little bit similar. So do you need clairaudience to consciously communicate with your spirit guides? No, you don't. Absolutely not. Some people have an easier time using clairvoyance. For example, visual artists, because they are focused, they're visual peoples. For them, it's easier to see than to hear. Others are better at clairsentience. Like I said, you empaths out there. If you can't hear your guides, that's totally fine. Focus on your clairsentience. You probably feel them. That again, it can be objective in the sense that you literally feel, let's say, a hand on your shoulder, or it can be more subjective. Like I said earlier, like a wave of love, like an emotion that you feel. And yet others are more claircognizant, like myself. So that's usually idea people, entrepreneurs, people that writers. So people that like generally are in their head a lot and deal a lot with ideas are oftentimes more claircognizant. All right, so you do not have to be clairaudient. And if you will never hear your spirit guides, that's totally fine. There are many, many other ways, 5 exactly, to communicate with your guides. So don't worry, all right? But if you're a musician or someone who's otherwise very sound sensitive, clairaudience is probably your main way of communicating with your guides. So listen up. And also, if like you know that your main clair is like clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, you can still develop your clairaudience more if you want to. Absolutely, you can. Just like anything that I teach here is all like a skill that you can learn. It's not something that you have to be born with. It just takes practice. That's it. So now, how to develop your clairaudience. So I want to introduce you to 5 different ways to develop your clairaudience. So number 1, heighten your auditory perception. So this, again, is a practice, all right? And practice means you have to do it more than once and more than twice or even more than 3 times, and it might take a while to work. So keep that in mind. So what you do is like you find a safe spot, maybe in bed at night or in the morning. You close your eyes, you quiet your mind a little bit by like focusing on your breathing, maybe even counting your breathing, and you breathe in and out a few times until like you are relaxed. And then you focus on your hearing. And you just Really pay attention to any kinds of sounds you hear. Birds outside your window, phones ringing, cars, the wind blowing through the trees, a baby crying, a bus driving by, a dog barking. Pay attention to every little sound. Maybe like you hear like your curtains move a little bit. Pay attention to every tiniest little sound. And do that for a few minutes every day. Again, it's easy to do that like when you are still in bed, or something similar, when you feel, or maybe when you're in the shower and you can listen to the water and like really listen, not just like to a stream of water, but maybe even hear like the little water droplets that hit the wall, and as much detail as you can, because basically you're training your auditory perception. Okay, the second way to develop your clairaudience is to listen to music. Makes sense, right? So pick an instrumental song that features several instruments, and then listen to it and isolate one instrument that you recognize, let's say a trumpet, and really focus only on that, and kind of like almost blend out the rest of the song and just listen to the trumpet and how, if you can distinguish the different notes. So it's very similar to the first exercise in the sense that you basically focus your hearing on certain sounds. And so, isolate that one instrument, focus on it, and listen to the entire song. Next time, maybe focus on another instrument that you can discern. And so, like, listen to that song again and again and again until you know it by heart and all the different parts of it. Again, repeat daily. Number 3, third exercise. Imagining sounds. All right, so again, sit in a safe space somewhere, close your eyes, relax your body, quiet your mind, and then imagine a sound. Could be a sound of an instrument, could be the sound of a baby laughing, could be an animal sound, could be the sound of a jackhammer if you want. Whatever you want, just like focus, imagine it, and really go into that sound, all the details again. And then do this like a few times with different kinds of sounds. And then, and only then, please guys, don't jump like right to what you think is the exciting part, because you will like cheat yourself. Anyway, so then once you've done this for a while, you can start imagining your spirit guide's sound. What does their voice sound like? Use your imagination, and don't worry about making it up or not waking it up. I know that's like a huge problem for everyone. Actually, it isn't, but I know you think it is. And here's why I'm saying it's not a big problem. Your spirit guides use your imagination to work with you. That's how guided meditations work. Like you are being guided to visualize / imagine things. And then your spirit guide can like go into what you are imagining and visualizing and put their message in there. And it's same is true with like, if you imagine their voice, what do you imagine your spirit guide's voice would sound like? Is it a male voice, a female voice, a voice that like doesn't give away the gender? Does your spirit guide sound young or old? What kind of like voice modulation do you hear? Is it a high-pitched voice, a deep voice? And just use your imagination. It's totally fine, because your spirit guide will work with your imagination. All right. Yes, mashups. Absolutely. I just saw that. Actually, one of my mediumship teachers did that. Like she uh, mashed up like several different songs, but like not mash up as in like it sounds good, but mash up as in literally like 5 songs on top of each other, and or even 10. I don't even remember. It was like a horrible sound actually. But and then I had to see how many songs I can recognize in that whole thing. It was kind of fun. I just don't know how to do that. Otherwise, I would do it just for fun for you guys. Anyway, so that's definitely another way. So number 4, how to develop your clairaudience: automatic writing. Take pen and paper or your laptop if you prefer. Set a timer for 15 to 20 minutes and start writing. It doesn't matter, like if you don't hear anything, that's fine. Then say I don't hear anything and just keep writing. I don't hear anything, but keep writing. The whole point is love, like keep writing. And over time you will, and this again, this is a practice. This is probably not going to work out the first time. It might take you a few weeks or even months to do this, but over time you will realize that you like hear a voice that is like telling you what to write. Again, probably the voice inside your head, not outside your head. All right. And then keep going, writing no matter what. And do this maybe once a week, every 2 weeks, whenever you have the time, but do it regularly. Again, this is a practice. All right, so and number 5, how to develop your clairaudience: ask your spirit guides to help you become more clairaudient. So prepare a quiet space, basically like a ceremony, as described in my book. Light a candle, clear the space with local herbs, like sage or whatever. But yeah, try to use like local stuff. So it doesn't have to be shipped all around the world and flown around the world, because it's not healthy. And also spiritually, it makes sense to take something that's local. Anyway, so then quiet your mind, relax your body, and then ask your guides out loud to help you develop your clairaudience, and trust that they will help, and then thank them, and then go about your day and see what happens. And then also, of course, like just when you're like walking around, when you're on the phone, for example, pay attention to what background noises you hear. You can do this all day long, like paying attention to what you hear, noises, voices, etc. You can, I think this is one of the easiest to do, like throughout your day to practice. All right, so which exercise did you like best? Post it in the chat. And I will just go over them really quickly again. So we have number 1, heighten your auditory perception. So that's focusing on your hearing for a few minutes a day, listening to birds, phones, cars, etc. Listen to music. That's the one where you pick a song and you focus on one instrument. Number 3, imagining sounds. So you sit and just like really start imagining a jackhammer or a voice, or in the end, after you practiced, what your spirit guide would sound like. Number 4, automatic writing. Number 5, ask your spirit guides to help you become more clairaudient. Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the chat. And let me see. Okay, Valerie says writing. Kitty says listening to music in the writing. Zina says automatic writing. Angela says listening to music. Era says 1 and 4. Anna says automatic writing. Lucy says 1, 4, and 5. Gil says listening to music. Kitty says she's gonna probably try all of them. Awesome. Tiberius says asking out loud. Mary says listening to music. Kirsty says 5. I've been noticing myself talking to my spirit guides more recently. Well done. I want to try automatic writing. Awesome. Erica says listen to music. Perfect. So your homework is obvious, right? So go throughout like this week, do at least one exercise, if not a few of them. All right. And then come back and find me on Instagram and send me a DM and let me know how it went. All right. So, oh yeah, and of course, here's my Instagram, and I'll put that in the chat. Here you go. Again, if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, come on over here to Crowdcast. The link is in the description. Otherwise, you will not see like these links that I post here, and you will not be able to get a mini reading, and I can't answer your questions. You will have to come over to Crowdcast. All right, so if you want to learn how to connect with your spirit guides, you can check out my master course, or even better, sign up for this free event that I talked about earlier. And then you can sign up for the new course. All right, so, and let me put that link for the free event in here one more time. I hope I can find it. Yes, here we are. And I'm just typing it real quick. There you go. All right. Sorry, it's a lot of scrolling. All right, so now we're going to do readings. I'll answer questions later, Karen. So keep that question with you and ask again later, please. All right, so yes, readings, mini readings. That's what we're going to do now. So there are a few things that you need to know before we can do that. I have my own definition of spirit guides. If you're a newbie, my definition is a bit different from what you're probably used to. I think that any kind of being from the higher realms that is connected to us in unconditional love and wants to help us on our spiritual path and in day-to-day life is a spirit guide. And there are 7 types of spirit guide: angels, ancestors, nature spirits, star beings, ascended masters, deities, and animal guides. Any of these can come through for you today when I do a mini reading for you. And we all have a team of guides. So the one that has the most important message for you will be the one that steps forward. That could be one you already know, could be one you don't know yet. And most importantly, you get the messages you need to hear, which is probably different from what you expect to hear. All right. And so how I work is like I close my eyes when I do readings because it helps me to focus. My head is a little bit like this, as if I'm listening, and I am. But like I mentioned earlier, I don't get messages through clairaudience. I do not hear spirit guides. I get the messages through downloads, that's called claircognizance, or through visuals, that's called clairvoyance. And then I translate it into words, and that's how it works. Sometimes I will ask you, does this make sense to you? Do you understand this? And then you say, yes, no, maybe, give me a little explanation, whatever feels right. Because for me, this is like detective work, and I have to like put the puzzle pieces together. And because the message isn't for me, it's for you. So sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but it makes sense to you. And so I have to sometimes ask you, do you understand this? Does this make sense? All right, so here's what you need to do. I want you to find the Ask a Question section. It's right under the green button. And guys, on Facebook and YouTube, there's no green button where you're watching. You will have to come over to Crowdcast. There's a link in the description. Click that link, come on over, and you will see the green button. So there's an Ask a Question section, and I want you to go there. This is not the chat. It's not the same thing. So please find the Ask a Question section and type first time. And only, of course, if this is your first time, if you've never had a reading from me, neither like a one-on-one reading nor a mini reading here on the show. So this is only for people who've never had a reading. Find the Ask a Question section, type first time, nothing else. So no please, no thank you, no whole sentences, nothing, just first time, because I need to quickly find you without having to wade through like lots of text. And then I will like invite a few people on screen. And then I will do the mini reading. When I invite you on screen, you'll get a little pop-up that says, I'm inviting you on screen. You say yes, you come on up here. and I can do the mini reading for you. I cannot do mini readings for everyone who wants one. There's just too many people. But if you do not get a reading, pay attention anyway, because your spirit guide knows that you're here and they work together. Oftentimes there are 4 or 5 people that basically need the same message from their guides. And so one of them will step forward, will give the message to their person. But if you feel, oh, wow, this like totally makes sense to me, and it almost sounds like this message is for me, then the message is for you. All right, because your guides, like I said, are working together. All right, so one last time, if you're on YouTube or on Facebook, click the link in the description, come on over to Crowdcast, because only here can I do a reading for you. All right, so let's see. Again, this is not the chat. Do not post this in the chat. It's something else. It's the Ask a Question section. You can find it along like the bottom here. All right. And only type first time, nothing else. I will not pick you if you type anything else. All right, so I'm gonna invite Valerie, and I'm going to invite Steve, and I'll invite like 3 or 4 people at the same time. And I'll invite Helen, and I'll invite Padmaja. Oh God, yes, I need to invite you so I know how to say your name. All right. No one has shown up yet. You guys, you have to say yes that you want to be up here. Otherwise, I can't give you a reading. Okay, then I'll just keep inviting more people. Atusa, I'm inviting you. And I'll just keep going until someone shows up. And guys, don't be scared. Like, this is totally fine.
I'm here.
Yes, I can see you. Hi, Steve.
Hi there.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very nice to be here on screen with you and in
Yes,
the group.
Absolutely. And I think you're from the UK, is that right?
That's right, yes. I'm in a little village.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's see. I'm just I just need to hear you better, so I increase the volume. So let's see who's here for you. It's fine, I can hear you. It's fine. I'm gonna close my eyes and then we'll see who shows up for you. Are you ready, Steve?
I'm ready. Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. There are more people. I need to mute them first. Otherwise, we have all kinds of background noise. All right, let's see. All right, Steve, there's an ancestor here. I think it might be your grandfather. I'm not 100% sure yet. What I do know is that like this person was definitely someone who is like more reserved or more quiet or maybe introverted. Definitely not someone who would like talk all the time or liked being like the center of attention. And I can tell because like he's oftentimes when it's like people that have passed, they and it's like more quiet or shy people even now they don't step forwards as much as, let's say, an extrovert would. And so he's a little bit in the background. What I do also know is that you have similar personalities. Did you ever know your grandfather?
Not very well, no.
would you know if like one of your grandfathers was like had a similar personality type to you?
I wouldn't know that.
Okay. That's fine. Maybe you can find someone and you can ask later on. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. From what I see, like he was, yeah, more reserved, more quiet, or maybe it's just that he doesn't want to tell me a lot that happens sometimes, because they're like, I don't even know who you are. Yes, I want to talk to this person, but I don't want to tell you too much information. So, he wants you to know that like you've done well, that he's proud of you. And there's a certain reason that he's proud of you, because there's something that you okay, so there's something in the family that's being passed down, and it's not necessarily like a good thing, like there is in many families. Some it could be something like I don't know, there's all kinds of things that are being passed down in families. Some are good, some are not so good. An extreme example could be alcoholism, abuse, money issues, but it doesn't have to be anything as extreme. It can be something different. But there's something that's been was being passed on, and he says you stop that cycle, and you change that. And he says he wants to thank you for that, because that makes a huge difference also for like generations that can come after, and because it also helps the ones that have already passed on, because you solving that problem basically solves the problem for everyone in that lineage. And so that's why he's coming through to tell you thank you. Does that make sense to you? Would you know what that could be?
Well, I'm thinking about what it might be.
Again, it doesn't have to do. It doesn't have to be something extreme. Like I said, it doesn't have to be like alcoholism, abuse, or anything. These are just like very obvious examples. It can be something much smaller. But there's something that he says, and again, I have the feeling like he doesn't want to tell me everything, because he seems to be like more a reserved person. But he's telling me that's okay. You will figure it out.
Okay.
So just so just keep this in mind, and think about it a little bit. Like, and I think this is on your dad's side. So think a little bit about like who you know on your dad's side. What kind of traits do they all have, or some of them have, that make life difficult for them? And what is it that you don't do anymore? That's basically the message. So yeah, I hope think about it, and yeah, if you figure it out and you are willing to share with me, send me an email. I'm curious.
Yeah, thank you. Well, my brain's working overtime to see if I can what it might be. I'm thinking it might be something to do with how I deal with people. Something to do with. I mean, my mum had a lot of mental illness when I was growing up, so I grew up second guessing what was going to happen next a lot of the time.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's helped me develop my intuitive side in terms of how I respond and work with people.
Yes, I totally get it.
So I think perhaps so I think it might be something to do with that in terms of how I've dealt with certain people over the last couple of years. I've been divorced, so I've come through a divorce. I think I've dealt with that in an honourable way, and also had another working relationship with somebody that hasn't worked out, but has required a lot of patience to actually give that person space to actually examine, I think about what they're doing by not reacting to them. So I think maybe it's something in that sort of area.
Yeah, that would make sense. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming. And
thank you very much.
See you soon.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
All right. So next we have, I forget who was next. I think Atusa. Is that how, do I say your name right?
Yes, it's Atusa. Hi. Salam.
Hi. Where are you from?
Iran.
You are from Iran.
Yeah.
Right. And what does Khodafis mean again? Is
Means
that
goodbye?
That's it. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was thank you or goodbye. God, I should really know.
By the
Like
way,
back
you
in
can have korma sabzi vegetarian. You should try it if you like.
I will find it.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Let's see.
Okay. I'm nervous.
Wait, they want me to look at you one more time. All right. Right. Okay. That's a very clear one, very easy one. You have a star being with you. This is a star being that is not, hold on, someone's not muted. This is a star being that does not have like full physical body. It's more like a other dimensional being. And I see it more like a light, actually. Right. Okay. It's saying that, and sorry, it doesn't have a gender per se. So it's like not human at all, really. It's yeah, like I said, it shows like a light. I know there's a being inside that light, but it doesn't have a physical body. The message is really about in this lifetime to pay attention to energies much more than what you see. So for you, also when it comes to connecting with your spirit guides, do not focus too much on seeing, do not focus too much in your day-to-day life on what you see. Focus more on like the energy that you feel, or behind what you see. That also goes for people. The way you can know if you trust someone is to like pay attention to their energy. Do not pay attention to what you see. And so it's about, in this lifetime for you, about sensitizing yourself to energies, working with energies. Reiki, for example, would be great for you to do that or try it, because it helps you to focus on energies. Working on your clairsentience is a good idea, because also that like maybe helps you feel energy. When you pay attention to energy, you will make better choices, because you are using you are going away from like the obvious, like what you see. And this is also true when it comes to friendships, romantic relationships, all of that. Pay attention to the energy, not what you see. And this actually helps the planet, because at this point in time, we are all being like asked to be more sensitive. And so you are helping bring like that kind of, because you are working on it yourself, because you made it like your purpose to sensitize yourself. You are also helping sensitize the world. And the more sensitive we become, the more empathic we become, the less we are inclined to be rude to other people or even be violent and all this stuff. So you are bringing this kind of energy into the world just by working on this yourself. And so this is like a bigger purpose than you would initially think. And all you have to do is really focus on energies instead of like what you see. So go away from the obvious and look behind what's there, by feeling into things. I hope that makes sense. Let's see, is there anything else? That's it. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. It made too much sense actually. So thank
What
you.
does that mean? It makes too much sense.
I mean, like every part made sense. It's my questions are answered. Like I was asking to see a sign, and I was being too angry, and you said to be more empathic, you have to focus on the energy instead of what you're seeing, and stop asking to see something. We're already here. We're sending you the energy, and you said you've made it your purpose, and I have, and I've been thinking about Reiki. Basically everything you said. The star being not having a shape, not having a gender. I know that spirit guide, and all of it made sense. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I'm
Thank
glad
you.
to give you that confirmation.
Yes, felt really nice. Thank you. I needed it.
You're very welcome. All right. Thank you for
All right.
coming.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. So next up, I don't remember who came first, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go with Helen. Hi, Helen.
Hello, Yamile.
Where are you from?
Midlands in England, around Nottingham.
I've never been. I still have to explore all of the UK. The only place I've been to is London and Cornwall, and that's pretty much it.
There's a lot more to see.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's see what I can do for you, Helen.
Thank you.
Helen, are you aware that you're a healer?
Yes, I do healing.
Okay, great. And are you aware that you were a witch in the Middle Ages?
No, but I'm not surprised.
There you go. All right, so I got that first. I don't even know who's telling me this yet. Let's see. All right, so in your past life, as I'm guessing that's why they also showed it to me, you worked a lot with like animal guides and nature spirits. So that should feel like natural to you. However, in this lifetime, it's angels that are trying to work. Well, they are working with you. And so it's about like focusing on that part of the unseen worlds. Doesn't mean that you can't work with nature spirits and animal guides on an ongoing basis. It's just like this is basically being added. And so it's really about like, and animal guides and nature spirits are very much about like earth and earth wisdom and Mother Earth and like healing with plants and herbs and that kind of thing. Angelic healing and angelic energy is more about, it's a different kind of energy. It's a lighter energy. It's more connected to the heavens, to the cosmos. And so that's, what they want you to focus on and to work with like your crown chakra. With your crown chakra. So let's see. There's a guardian angel for you. He's like a male. But like the message I'm getting right now is more a general. So yes, I see your guardian angel and he's standing behind you. Like I see him on your left. So you're right, basically. He's kind of like there. But he's not, it's more like a general angelic vibe that's coming through. So it's also about like when you do healings, call in like the angelic realm to help you and channel their healing energy instead of using your own, or instead of just using like the Mother Earth, nature spirit, animal guide kind of healing. Because then you have like this real channel between like the earth energy and the more angelic heavenly energy, and you are like basically in the middle. And so work with the angels. and that will open up a space for you when it comes to healing, but also generally for yourself on a personal level that you haven't had access to before this lifetime. Yeah, I think that's the message. Does that make sense?
Brilliant. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it all made sense. Working with angels, yes, that's something I already do. When I do my healing,
Perfect.
I already call in the angels.
Perfect.
And I have recently done a course in shamanism, so I have been working with power animals as well. So,
yes,
yeah,
and that probably felt very natural to you, right?
It did, yes.
Yeah,
And I do seem to see them, or at least sense them, perceive them around people fairly easily, even if I don't always know what they mean. It's like I can actually sense them. Yeah, and that's interesting about the past life with being a witch in the Middle Ages, because I remember my first ever dreams that I used to have. I dreamt I was being tracked down and held underwater. They were quite scary dreams. So yeah, that does make sense. I always felt there was something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
One thing about the animal guide, so I don't use the term power animals, but that's what I'm talking about basically. But when it comes to animal guides, it's not always about like what it means. Yes, like the let's say the Western version of shamanism works that way, but when you look at more traditional indigenous knowledge, they don't work that way in the sense, what does this mean? It's more about when you see them around other people, tune into the animal and let them tell you what it means instead of, go to the internet and look it up, if that makes sense.
Do that more, I think. Yes. Yeah. Because I've got about 4 pages of what they all mean.
Yeah, and also pay attention to what it means to you also.
Yeah. Yes, I'll do that. Yeah.
And interesting, because for me, it also started with animal guides. It was one of the first ones I would see around other people. Yeah.
I heard that they're an aspect of your spirit guide, aren't they?
I see them as one spirit guide, like one type of spirit guide. And then you have the others like angels and ancestors, and I see them all as types of spirit guides. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that was really interesting. It's confirmed a lot. Thank you.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. All right. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. And then we have Valerie. Hi, Valerie. Oh, hold on. I have to unmute you. Hi, Valerie.
Hi, how are you? Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm really good. Where are you in the world?
Tennessee in the U.S.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Another place I've never been to. I don't think so. What's the biggest city in Tennessee?
Nashville.
Okay. Yeah. Never been there. Well, another place I will have to visit. All right. Let's see what I can do for you. Right, there's a goddess here for you. And it is, what's her name? Oh, it's one of the Orishas from like the Santeria, Candomblé, etc. traditions. So like the African traditional religions that were brought over to the rest of the world through the people that were enslaved. And she's the goddess of the river, and she's like also associated with honey and mirrors and can't think of her name right now, but I'm sure if someone knows, please type it in the chat. Otherwise, you can just like Google Orisha of rivers and you will find it. Her color is yellow. That's what I know. And she is, oh, don't you have yellow in the background? Yeah, you do. And yeah, so her message is very simple: love yourself. And she says you're beautiful, and she says you're beautiful inside and outside, and she says you need to believe in yourself more, and she says it's time that you just like go out there and be yourself and don't let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong or that you're whatever. Like, don't listen to the negativity of other people. Listen to your own heart. Look at your own heart. Let yourself be led by your own heart, because she says you have a really beautiful heart. You're like a very compassionate person. You stand up for other people, and you are just a lovely being. And she wants you to know that and to really internalize that and live that way and be proud of yourself and be proud how far you've come, like on your journey as a soul, and how much you have like developed and how much you have learned, and that you have a lot to give to the world, and that you are here for a reason. And so don't let anyone keep you from living your life the way you want to live it. And she says, and I said earlier, I'm not clairaudient, but sometimes I get little snippets. And she just said, she says, I'm serious. Take this as a very serious message. You need to love yourself. You need to be proud of yourself, because otherwise you can't live your purpose. Because if you love yourself, if you're proud of yourself, your vibration is up here. If you doubt yourself and you don't love yourself, your vibration is down here. And only if your vibration is up here can you actually fully shine your light. If your vibration is down here, you can't, or you're just doing it a little bit and basically hiding your light. And so she says, there is absolutely no reason that you shouldn't believe in yourself. There's no reason that you shouldn't be out there and be proud of yourself and be like, ta-da, this is me.
Yeah.
And she says you're one of her daughters and she loves you very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I hope definitely all of that actually. So I'm a nurse practitioner, so I naturally help people, so naturally take care of people. And even the people closest to you, even though you want to tell the people closest to you, like your secrets, dreams, whatever that is, sometimes the people very closest to you, even in your home house, kind of downs you. So then it's like, well, maybe that was too much, or maybe I shouldn't say it. Sounds weird to other people, but not to me. So it's like, so then you internalize it, and then I don't say anything at all. So I could see where that would like down my vibration. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So easy, simple solution: find other people that do support you.
Yeah.
And then talk to them about it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
All right. So I'm glad this resonates with you. And I love that you have the yellow in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Oshun. Thank you, Yvette. Oshun, that's her name.
Ocean.
Usually I know that, but I think I'm getting old. I forget.
Ocean. Okay.
Yeah. So look that up. Look her up. Like, do some little research about her, Google her, etc., and see how it resonates with you.
Okay, will do.
All right. And get like a yellow T-shirt or something, or like me, something like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Wear yellow. That's good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. All right, everyone. Question time. But first, if you want to get a one-on-one reading with me, then you can do so by clicking that green button below. It literally says book a reading. And yes, be aware, I'm fully booked until January. So if you book now, you will get your reading in January. The problem is if you book later, it might actually be longer. So and also I announced it 100 times that I was going to raise my prices, and I was about to do it, but then I realized that my website is broken, so I can't do it. So you guys are lucky. You can still get the readings for the old price, but only if you do it now. And yes, you will have to wait a little bit, but Spirit will always make sure that you get the reading at the right time. At least that's how I see it. So here's that green button, book a reading. My website is being fixed. So as soon as it's fixed, the price will go up. So don't wait. All right, so question time. Again, go to the Ask a Question section under the green button and type in your questions, not in the chat because there things are like too fast. I can't keep up. So find the chat, find the Ask a Question section box, whatever you want to call it, and type in your questions, and then I will answer some of them. Ooh, we're actually already over time, so I will do maybe 10 minutes of answering questions. All right, everyone, let's see. Okay, so there's at the start, there's an interesting question. Blue asks, why do some people have more profound spiritual experiences than others? I always get a bit sad when I read books where people have such profound experiences because I don't have those. I can totally relate because when I was younger and I started my spiritual journey, I had the exact same sentiment. I felt this the exact same way. I would read these books with these amazing stories, and I was like, why don't I ever see anything like that? Why does this never happen to me? Little did I know that I would be sitting here now and that I did see stuff later on. But to answer your question, I think that I, for example, physically saw my spirit guide because I needed that wake up call. I needed to physically see him to really understand there's more out there than I knew. So basically, I was being a kind of like stubborn when it came to these things, and I needed someone to go like, "Hey, we are here." But maybe you don't, and that's the whole thing. You don't have to have these extreme, as you call them, profound spiritual experiences. Maybe you are much more open and much more sensitive than I am, and maybe you get your messages from your guides in way more subtle ways because they know that you will listen anyway. They don't need to take you and be like, wake up. And so I think oftentimes this is actually answer. And yes, people think, oh, it's so much more fun to see something or hear something outside of yourself. But in the end, subtle messages are just as valid, and it's about the message, not about how the message comes to you. So just really focus on what you do get and what you do experience and what difference that makes in your lives, because that's really what it is about. What difference does it make in your life? How does it influence your life? How does it make your life better? Not about how the message comes to you. And also the other thing is it is about practice. And I say this again and again and again and again, I know, but it's really about practice. All this stuff, it has to do with skills, and just like any other skill, you can learn it, you can expand, you can dive deeper into it, and then you will have more profound experiences. And when I say practice, that does not mean you do it 3 times and then you give up. Just let's say, I don't know, singing or yoga or soccer or whatever it is, it takes sometimes weeks, months, sometimes even years. When I look at my mediumship teachers like Gordon Smith and Tony Stockwell, and these kinds of people, when they started training to be mediums, they what you call sit in the power. And those of you who have done workshops with me, you know what I'm talking about. But they did meditation exercises for years, every week, the same time, the same spot, with the same people. They would just sit in a circle and meditate together. And that's all they did. They didn't ask for messages. They didn't ask to see anything. They didn't ask to hear anything. They just sat, did this sitting in the power meditation, and did that for years, until before they even started giving messages or anything like this. So again, it's a skill. I hope this answers your question. Okay. Yeah, Atusa asked, can you talk about tinnitus? I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but I hope you know what I mean. And it's a connection to clairaudience. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier. I can't give you too many details. Again, like clairaudience is not one of my main clairs, but I do know there's a connection in the sense that when you, and this is, so when you hear ringing in your ear, if it's like a physical thing, like what you're talking about, then it's different. But if you have a ringing in your ear from time to time, it oftentimes means that you're either that your guides are working with you to develop your clairaudience, and it can be a sign of like, pay attention, like here, pay attention. And then when that happens, pay attention to what's happening outside of you. Is there something that's important? Is there someone sitting next to you at a different table and having a conversation that gives you the answer to a question you had? Are you in a library and you're walking by a book that could give you the answers? Pay attention. And then pay attention to what's going on inside of you. What were you thinking? What were you feeling at the moment? Is there something significant going on there? That's usually what this is about when you have like, ringing in your ears and similar phenomena. All right. Atusa asked a similar question again, so I answered that. All right, just looking for questions. There's not too many today. Okay. Mary Lane asked, how and when do I know my spirit guides are trying to communicate with me? That's a big question. I could talk about that for hours. And I would suggest you come to the free event that I talked about earlier. I hope you already signed up because that's the question I'm going to answer at the free event. So the entire half hour, that my half hour talk will be about how do I know what are the signs that my spirit guides are trying to communicate with me. So sign up for that. I will send out like emails about that during the week, so no one misses it. And I will answer that question there. All right, so it doesn't look like you guys have too many questions today. Nope, that's it. Can't find any others. Let me check in the chat real quick. All right, here's a question. Angela asks, why do my guides only visit in my dreams? Ask my guides for signs to confirm their existence, but I don't receive them. Okay, so you're asking your guides to confirm their existence, but you don't receive them, but they do show up in your dreams. How is that not confirmation that they exist? It is. Like, you are getting the answer you're asking for. They are showing up in your dreams, and you're saying like that's not the answer you want. Guys, like, this is one of the things that are really important. Like, we all, me included, we have all like certain expectations of how things should happen, including our communication with our spirit guides. And then we completely miss when they try to communicate with us because we are sitting here like this. And again, including me, I do this in life too, so please don't take it personally. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people think like they have to see their guides, they have to hear their guides for it to be real. No, you don't. You can just like feel them, or you can even like sense them in other ways. And if they show up in your dreams, that's totally valid, and that's amazing, and that's great. Work with that. Work with what you have. For example, you could learn lucid dreaming, and then you could, in your dreams, communicate with your guides, because lucid dreaming is all about like, what's the word? be lucid while you're dreaming so that you can control your dream. So you could like learn lucid dreaming and then go into your dream and then ask like specific questions that you have. You can write down these questions before you go to sleep so you remember them, then go into the dream. Once you're lucid in your dream, call on your guide or go wherever you know they are and then have a conversation with them. If this is like how it works for you, use it. Don't try to like go somewhere else. Don't try to say, oh, but like I don't want them in my dreams. I want to see them. Why? There's no reason. If this works for you, go with it. And this is true for all of you. If there's a way that you can perceive your guides, then go with that. Don't try to like reinvent the wheel, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps you, Angela. All right, guys. It's been awesome like always and fun like always. And on the next episode, we will probably do the next Claire. So either claircognizance or clairsentience. I'm not sure yet. Either way, thank you so much for coming. Don't forget, if you want to know how to connect with your guides, then you can get the master course, or even better, sign up for this free event and then sign up for the course that's coming up. And if you want a one-on-one reading, you can also go to my website. It's thespiritguidemedium.com and go to the menu, click on work with me, and you will find the readings. Or you can click the green button here below. All right. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye, and enjoy the weekend.